Tribes, Tenure, and Trust. How organizations build communities people stay for.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our first panel discussion of the day. I'm sure everyone will, it's a very interesting discussion. It's about talent and, well, longevity in a company. I think this is a very interesting topic for the industry that we're in, where we see a lot of turnovers, right? But I'm sure every one of you here, leaders in the industry, you would want to build something in your companies that will last. So we have three big questions that we will answer today. Why do people stay? Second, who do they trust? And third, what actually turns a workplace into a community rather than, well, a stopover? I am joined by three brilliant voices shaping how organizations hire, lead, and retain talent globally. And I'm very honored to have these three ladies with me here on stage. Now, I want to give a few moments for them to, of course, introduce themselves and what do they do. Please.
There we go.
There we go.
Hi everyone, good morning. I'm Cordelia and I'm the founder and CEO of CMC Consulting, a boutique executive search recruitment business within technology and emerging tech. We focus on more of like a matchmaking, headhunting approach, and I think that's what makes us quite unique in the market. Thanks, and looking forward to today.
Hi, so my name is Jace Cruikshank, and I am the director of Bigwig Headhunters, which again is a boutique headhunting firm, specifically focusing on entertainment, emerging tech, crypto, and Web3. So I've been around for the last 20 years within the space, and I look forward to sharing my experiences with you guys.
Yes, wonderful. All right.
Hi everyone, I'm Camila. I'm founder of MetaHire Group, which is also the boutique recruitment agency, which is specializing in the entertainment services, also in the Web3 crypto. I'm in the industry for the 11 years with the roots in Malta. Now I'm based in Dubai, so yeah, I decided to open the firm here to focus on the local talent, but also obviously I'm having also global exposure. So yeah, I'm very excited for today to share more insights, not just about Dubai, but also on the global markets, and yeah, just have an interesting discussion here. Thank you.
Well, I guess it's safe to say that some of us here owe where we are right now in our career to these ladies in front. Well, thank you, and I'm part of that. I guess you guys have that magic, the Zoom power, like who to pick for this, specific company, who will fit a specific role. That's a very unique talent. Now, of course, Camila, you mentioned you're based here in Dubai, and we're here in Dubai for AIBC Eurasia. I want to start with you, because I've mentioned we were talking, and a lot of people that I met are telling me, oh, I want to move in Dubai. Of course, there are some perks, like maybe the tax-free salary, but you've mentioned it's no longer the differentiator. So what actually makes, top talent to stay long-term, maybe, and even here in Dubai? What's making,
So in my opinion, I think, as you said, it's no longer about a tax-free. That's a standard here in Dubai to receive a tax-free salary. I think it's more, and I think it will always like this. It's more about the opportunity. It's more about the networking. It's more about to meet and be surrounded by the most ambitious people in the world, who are also one of the most successful people in the world, I would say. Also, it's great, obviously, in terms of the networking, but at the same time, I think each person who is planning to relocate here, most of them, it's for the business, to build the business or to work for a specific organization, has something unique to bring to the table, because you need to have Dubai has a specific energy. You need to be strong, you need to have a drive, and you need to love what you do to succeed here, you know. So to answer your question, it's opportunity, it's networking. Obviously, people are now building lives here because of the safety, but generally speaking, but at the same time, since the government introduced and since employees and organizations introduced golden and green visa, it's giving people more safety to stay for long term. So I think that's, and generally speaking, people would like to be part of the legacy projects. They would like to be part of the, again, big organizations from, and they would like to be part of the companies who are implementing obviously AI, you know, so they get better understanding what's the future about. But at the same time, they would like to work for the companies that are supported by the government, by the local government, so they feel that they belong here. They are not just transiting, right? So yeah, I think
I get that. You know what? Well, fun fact, it's my first time in Dubai. Not my first time in Dubai airport, but outside of the airport. So I'm like, I think people go here to really do business, meet same-minded people. So yeah, I get that. It's really not, sometimes it's not just about, you know, the perk of tax-free salary. It's really that really, you know, is something, it's equal for everyone. So it's not really a differentiator. Now, Jade, of course, you spend your time advising companies on senior and C-level hires. You know, and we have a lot of them here. When attracting and retaining top leadership, what signals matter more than compensation? Of course, compensation is there, you know. When you're already senior C-levels, we all know the bracket already. So, you know, what makes them join the company or stay in the company?
That's a very good question. I think over the last 20 years, just evaluating the market and looking at successful operators, especially startup operators, your C-level talent should be the CEO's advisors. Now, I really believe that the success comes from the vision of the CEO, okay? Now, a CEO, I always tell clients, for example, okay, Mr. CEO, you have a great vision, okay? You've got the money, you've raised the funds, that's even easier to do, okay, to raise funds. But to get the top tier talent that you can fully entrust in and entrust them as your consultants. So not managing them, you know, saying, listen, you need to do this, you need to do that. It's about making sure that they are tightly tied in with the company roadmap and that they are trusted to lead and to contribute to the company's goals. But I do believe it is really based on trust. And also when it comes to the question of retaining the staff as well, especially in startup phases, it's ideal, you know, to offer just more than, you know, the great salaries that they get, but making them feel a part of the business. For example, perhaps offering equity, you know, and empowering them, again, going back to that trust level factor, and empowering them to build their teams that they can train and hopefully make their own position redundant so that people can work their way up within the industry.
I
Yeah.
think Cordelia wants
Not
to
my
add
team.
to that.
Nothing
Go
to do.
Yeah,
ahead.
I was going to say, just to
Nothing to
add
do
on
with
to
Maxine.
what Jade's saying, I think,
She's
you know,
only
trust,
closing
communication,
logistics,
honesty,
things like this.
these are really
Just ignore
important
Max-
kind of
ignore
pillars
tell
within
Maxine,
a
say it's being
business.
handled.
And I think that, you know, irrespective of the life cycle that a company is in, I think by building those foundations, you'll be able to retain and hire the best talent.
Now, well, Cordelia, I want to go back to you and ask, because we all know that a lot of companies are scaling fast. So I wonder, how do you think culture or leadership behaviors intentionally can create community and not just engagement, especially in high growth environment?
I think culture has changed a lot over the last kind of decade in businesses. I feel like maybe in 2016 it was like a buzzword of like, oh, well, we have really positive culture. We're doing great things at work. We have like beer Friday and we have a
Pizzas.
ping pong table. Wow. But I think now it goes much more kind of back to basics. You know, what employees want is they want career development framework. They want to feel that they're supported at work. They want to be able to have flexibility that if they need to work from home, they can. So I think that the culture starts with trust. And when you build that trust, then you can have a positive culture. You know, culture can turn toxic extremely quickly. And it's really important that the managers and leaders in the business are able to support that in a positive way. And really the foundation of that is trust. When you trust your employees and the employees feel trusted, you can help to build and maintain that.
Now, speaking of culture, it just comes to my mind. A lot of us here belongs to global companies. How can companies make sure that, we welcome all kinds of cultures?
That's a really good question, and I think it totally depends on the business setup. If you're fully remote, it's very easy to attract people from all different countries. If you need people in the office, then it can potentially be more challenging. You know, if we look at markets like Malta, where it's quite a small market, and we look at what happened during COVID, a lot of people returned to their country of origin, and then there was a challenge to encourage people to get back to the office afterwards. So, I mean, what I've seen, and I'm sure that this would be echoed with the ladies, is there's been almost like a return to office movement. Businesses saw over the last couple of years that maybe results weren't quite where they wanted them to be, and whether it's to do with working remotely or not, that remains to be seen. You know, my business is fully remote, it always will be. But what we saw is that a lot of companies then said, look, you know, we know you love working from home, but actually you need to come in, whether it's 2 days a week, 3 days a week. And I think that that's changed the whole landscape of things, really.
Anything that you want to add?
I think just to add on to what you said is a perfect example. I mean, I remember a large tier 1 operator back in Malta that had all of their upper management actually working remotely. And they were doing a fantastic job. You know, the output, the deliverables, they were doing great. And I think in the mindset as well, because again, going back to trust, it's all about trust. When your management is trusting you to deliver and work remotely, usually people put in more than they would in their 9-to-5 office space, because they appreciate that. They can be at home and they can open the door for their delivery and still jump on a call. So you're giving them that flexibility, like Cordelia said, and, you know, the trust, right? So I think it was a shame when I had seen this tier 1 operator. They had said, okay, we want to move everyone back in-house in Malta. And it was either you come back in-house or you're going to, you know, lose your job. Which is a shame. And I think a lot of companies are still trying to navigate bringing people back on site and evaluating whether it's going to work on site. But I think the most important thing that these operators, companies should be looking at is the deliverables.
Okay.
If they are delivering, why change something that's working?
Yeah, and I think as well, remote works for most people, but it doesn't work for everyone.
Yeah, that's
you know,
true.
If I
That's
look
true.
at when I first started my recruitment career, could I be making sales calls on my own at home? No, I wouldn't have had a
No,
clue
yeah.
what to do. Who am I calling? What do I say? By being in an office, I got to listen to other people's sales pitches and then be like, I'll take a little bit of that,
Right.
I'll take a little bit of that. And then you get your pitch together. I think, for new people coming out of university, the thought of being sat on your own all day, you can, go to the fridge, put a wash on, take your dog for a walk. It's very easy to get distracted, and you have to be disciplined to work properly from home.
Yes, I'd agree, because for some people, they want their family life separated completely, because when you do remote, you have to work at your home. Yes, I think you want to add to that, Camila.
Yeah, I also wanted to add that I also agree with Cordelia, with the girls, obviously. In terms of the remote working, I think it's obviously fascinating what we could do during the COVID time. And I also work remote, and I love that. Obviously, we just need to make sure that when we are hiring for fully remote teams for other organizations, we just need to make sure that people actually get things done, right? And as Cordelia mentioned, I think people who are quite junior or who are just starting their career, especially or those who started during the COVID time, they miss this opportunity to experience how is to work actually in the office, like how do I collaborate with other teams. So
Yeah.
I think those that miss this might find remote working quite challenging.
Challenging, yeah, that's true.
And also here, obviously in Dubai, it's a little bit different because you would like to meet people. So you need to actually go out and work on the cafes, or I don't know, go to the IFC to meet finance people, whatever is your audience that you are targeting. Because here it's all about networking. So I think the balance is the key, and obviously each organization prefers something specific, but that's my point of view.
I mean, to touch on that
Yes.
as well, like Camilla said, it always goes back to networking.
Yeah. Yes, and
And
that-
at the end of the day, especially in our industries, your network is your net worth.
That's true. Your network is your net worth. Very, very important. Now, ladies, I want to ask this, but anyone can answer. How should companies support employees through major life stages? Because life happens, right? Life happens. Could be relocation, family, or career, plateaus, to encourage longer tenure and loyalty.
I mean, I think this probably comes down to the age-old question of work-life balance. What is work and life, and how can it fit together? And I think at different stages of your career, each option will take probably more of a precedent depending on, the life chapter that you're in. I think, HR teams can support their teams by ensuring, transparency and honesty. And I think as the employee, you need to be honest if you're going through big life changes. It's only then that you can be fully supported. But I think, and maybe this is a little bit unpopular, work isn't your family. They are there to support you and challenge you, but ultimately you are there to do a job. Right. And if you're not able to do your job properly, well, then there are challenges. And, there's only so far that a business can support you before it becomes detrimental to them. And, I work on both the HR consultancy side and the recruitment side. Sometimes tough conversations do have to be had around people's performance. And it's not that you don't like that person, but also, you're there to do a job.
Yeah, I get that. As a manager, I have to deal, of course. How do I communicate this? But you really have, when you're part of a company, you're there also, really have to work, right? I think Jay wants to add to that as well.
Definitely. I mean, I think, when it comes to difficult situations, I've also had the privilege of working in-house as a chief people officer. So building up, scaling a company from white label stages, a legacy team of 11 and building that up. And it was really interesting having the experience working in-house and assessing what we can offer employees to feel supported. And again, it goes back to like what Cordelia was saying and yourself, like companies say, oh, you have company benefits, the standard medical insurance, your equipment, Friday beers, your parties. This is, this is not relevant anymore. I mean, if you are on a Friday, giving out beers and pizza, I mean, how productive do you think your team are going to be after that? I think it's more, I've seen more of a shift and a trend in HR when it comes to, for example, the likes of mental support.
Yeah.
So looking and giving them access, for example, to therapists if they like, because there's a lot of companies that offer wellness packages. Now, wellness can mean so many things. It can mean a gym. You might be a gym buddy. You might prefer therapy, which is investing in yourself.
Yeah.
That is coming back to the company as well. So, self-development and, HR should really be looking at that. We have expectations that they have to meet, and there's KPIs and there are deliverables. But if you're not reaching them, why are you not reaching them?
Yeah.
And each case should be evaluated individually, because each person has their own story. I mean, just to give you like a really quick example, I had worked in-house for an operator, and they didn't have HR because it was a startup.
Okay.
And the CFO, if somebody walked in 20 minutes late, he would immediately deduct 4 hours leave off of that person's annual leave.
Yeah.
And as soon as I walked in, I said, this is not on. This is not okay. I said, did you go up and ask that person why they were late today? They could have had, a traffic accident. That I had a developer that had an unwell family member, so something could have happened. So, it's going up to them, hey, are you okay? This is not okay that you come in late. Explain why, but, approaching each person with a unique approach, and not everybody is the same in the organization. So I think that's really important.
Yeah, empathy can go a long way.
Yeah,
Now,
empathy, and just being human-centric. I mean, in HR, and we work in talent acquisition in HR. There's so many different verticals, right? But it's human resources. The word is human. Yeah. So it's like, when, for example, AI comes up and things, I'm just like, that's taking away, the personal aspect as well. Or people just send you, AI messages on LinkedIn, and that it's AI. They haven't looked at your profile. Yeah. I mean, is that the first impression that you really want to give?
Right. Well, now I want to ask Camila here, what should leaders be doing consistently to make culture something people feel, and not just, read in the deck or the office memo?
I think that obviously doesn't apply just for Dubai, but globally. I think people are always looking for, if they work for the organizations, transparency. They want open communication. They want surprises. And obviously, I understand that CEOs and founders and whoever is holding the company, they can't always share everything what's happening in the background. But I think transparency, especially here in Dubai, is very important for the people, because the game changed here. People are moving here with the families. They're building their life here. They would like to stay long term. They got golden visa, so they don't want surprises at the end of the year. They don't want to take the whole family and just relocating back to the UK or to anywhere else. So I think, in my opinion, is the transparency. Also, to people who like to feel as a part of the community, especially here, they would like to, when they arrive, and it doesn't matter if you are a single professional who's moving here for opportunity, or you're moving here with your whole family. I think they all are looking for to be part of the community. They would like to, since there are 90% of the foreigners here in Dubai, they obviously would like to meet people who are having the same hobbies or who they can spend time with.
They want to feel they belong.
You would like to feel home. You would like to feel
home. Yes.
That's why people are buying properties here, and most of them are planning to stay long term, which I think is quite exciting and fascinating at the same time.
Right. Well, ladies, I'm afraid we have to wrap up, so I'm going to close with one question for all three of you. If retention is the outcome, what is one leadership behavior or signal that, when practiced consistently, has the biggest impact on trust and long-term commitment?
I would say consistency. As a manager or a leader, it's really important that your communication is consistent, your expectations are consistent. When it comes to work stress, it's very easy for leaders to push it onto their teams, but really their job is to try and take that stress away, to manage it, and then to kind of break that up. So yeah, for me, definitely consistency.
I have to second that, consistency, and also having a defined career plan for your hire, because companies tend to say, oh, we have a gap right now, let's fill that, but in 6 months' time that gap would not be there. So just making that clear, the clear career map for them that is tied into the company goals and the company roadmap. And also, again, I'm going to say it again, a manager, when they are leading a team, they should be training and investing their team to make their own position redundant. Yep. If you are not in that space of mind, or you're threatened, which I see a lot, I've seen a lot throughout the industry, that managers will actually be threatened that somebody is going to take their job. Step down. That's not a leader.
Camilla?
I agree with both ladies of what they said, and I will just add probably something very short and basic maybe, it might sound, but in my opinion, just hire the people who love to do the job what they do, or who love their field, and then if you're hiring people who like to do their job actually, you can be sure that they will build your organization with the passion, and it will be successful, So yeah, that's all from my side. Thank you.
Wonderful. And I guess I want to close this panel to emphasize what the ladies here have said. Let's all remember the human in human resources, right? Yes, it's a business, but again, it's the workforce are the backbone of how companies could succeed. Now, thank you again to our panelists for their insights, and thank you to all of you for listening to this very, very important topic. Thank you, and good morning, and enjoy the rest of AIBC Eurasia. Thank you.